My apologies about that. Okay. Hi, I'm Kefka14. I'm going to be running Doraemon 3 for you today, and another game after this. Very happy to be here. Very happy to showcase this game. It doesn't get the chance often, which is great. Let's check out the run. Let's get it going. Alright, in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so you'll notice I'm going to get quiet when cutscenes start. There's this weird mechanic in this game where if you can press start to skip cutscenes, but if you press start a little too late or a little too early, for some reason it locks the game, and you can no longer skip the cutscene. So I'm listening for the audio of the cutscene to start. Once you hear that audio, you can definitely skip. Right now we're in the prologue of the game. We're playing as Nobi. Nobi is the main character of the Doraemon anime series. I don't know a whole lot about the anime series, to be completely honest with everybody. However, what I can tell you is that it's pretty crazy stuff, as you'll see. So the very first thing we've done here is our hometown has been transported to like another dimension. And we had to go and check on our good friend Doraemon, and then immediately switch back to Nobi, since Nobi is faster. At least on the ground, as you'll see later. But here in the prologue, it's pretty simple. We just have to talk to a couple of NPCs, and then we can move on. Prologues are always fun. You know, just grinding it out. You've done it 1,000 million times. You'll do it 1,000 million more. Text boxes in this game are actually somewhat of a challenge. In terms of mashing, you can't just really mash through them. There's kind of a rhythm to it. And I guess that's really any kind of menuing or text boxes. Alright, so this is the first stage, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab this green thing right here. We're going to call those sprays. They're going to be very useful throughout the game, and there's a lot of RNG that we have to take into account when it comes to sprays. We're also going to go ahead and equip our first weapon here, which is just straight up a revolver, of course. So, hopefully we get good RNG from enemy drops. And what we're wanting is to see lots of sprays. Boxes always, well, you can always count on boxes. Oh, we got a heart. That's very unfortunate. That's okay. A couple safety hearts for Marathon isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. So we come in here and we talk to this NPC. And she gives us a crystal. This crystal is going to be very useful later. Now, I was going to do this here anyway. You can leave the level right then and there. But I was going to go ahead and do an extra small farming session here, just for Marathon safety. But we actually had to do it anyway because of our bad RNG. So, not a big deal. Wow, we got really terrible RNG. Fun. So we have to use this item. It sort of makes the level into like a daytime state. That's an important part of the story flag. So, the next part of the game, level 2 here, you're not really going to be able to see that much. I apologize for that. There is an item in the game that you can use where it will brighten up these dark areas. There's only 2 of them in the game, and they're both pretty short. As such, it's quicker to just skip the item. So, we are, because we're doing a speedrun. I have the brightness on my TV turned up to compensate, so I can see quite well. It's unfortunate, I know, but, you know, you gotta go fast. You will be able to see a very brief moment of this level coming up here. You can kind of see this part. So we come in here and we have to talk to this NPC. One thing I really like about this game as a speed game is it's very dynamic. There's a little bit of everything. Platforming, action, menuing, item management. A little bit of everything. Alright, so we got pretty good RNG there, and that robot dropped a spray. We're gonna kill one more and really hope it drops a spray. Okay, we're in pretty good shape now. So we get the second crystal, and basically to unlock the boss area in this first world, we have to get 3 crystals. Now we're going to probably the best stage in the first world. We're going to be coming back here way later in the game, actually, to fetch something else. I won't spoil what it is. And, yeah. There's some pretty cool jumps you can make here, platforming-wise. That's not one of them. This one here is, though. You can kind of jump up slopes. There's 3 of them that you can do in this stage, and in my opinion, they progressively get harder. Here's the second one here. Let's see if we get it. Yeah, nice. The third one, I'm going to try for once. Just once. If I miss it, we're just going to move on. Very small time loss. Oh, I got it! First try, dude! That doesn't happen ever. That's nice. Very, very difficult slope jump. It's a very, very specific angle, and you have to jump at a pretty specific frame. That's a really nice time save, though. So now we're going to the first of 2 water levels in the game. They're pretty basic. We are, however, going to play as Doraemon for the only time in the run, after we jump in this water, and the reason for that is Doraemon he just swims way faster. We do have to use some of our first sprays, though. We used some a little bit earlier. Basically, you come with every item in the game already in your inventory. You just can't use them because they're covered in, like, this intergalactic goop or something. And more or less, you have to collect 5 sprays to redeem each item. So, a big key component when running and routing this game was kind of figuring out the best places to get these sprays. Sometimes that means depending a little bit on RNG, but for the most part, not as much. Like right here, those 4 respawn, and we're going to abuse that here in a second. So we come in here and we get this key. Whoa, I accidentally walked back through the door. Small time loss there. No big deal. Come up here, grab this key card, and we're moving on. So then we're going to come back out here, and we're going to grab these sprays. I'm going to get all of them just to be extra safe, and we're going to use a door item here. This item teleports us out of the stage. Now, it's quicker to leave the stage and re-enter because of how long it takes to swim in general, and because of the short distance we really have to go when we re-enter the stage as well. There's a cool little boost you can get here if you hold into this that corner there, like so. Saves a little bit of time. Use this card key. And then we're gonna get our primary weapon for the run. The Faint Bang Grenade. Or just the grenade, as I call it. Or a bomb. You can call it whatever you like, really. It's a pretty cool weapon. It's very OP. And as such, we're gonna be abusing it with every boss fight in the game. Okay, excellent. So now we're going on to the first of the boss levels in the game. The boss music in this game is amazing, so as such, I'm gonna just shut up during the boss fight. However, there is a small stage before the boss. It's not too bad. You just go through some water chutes and do a little bit of small platforming. This next room can be a bit troublesome if you don't move quick enough, or turn fast enough, and get up there. Yeah, if you miss that platform going up, you lose some time. We didn't though, so that's good. Grab a safety spray. Later. Alright, here's the first boss. Check out this music. It doesn't matter if we take damage as Doraemon. We're not going to be playing as him much longer. And that's the first boss. We're already through World 1. World 1 is crucial in this run, mostly because we really need good RNG. We really need good RNG. Like, for sure. Alright, so we're going on to World 2. It's, in my opinion, the most technically difficult world in the game. In between each world, though, we have a small grouping of text box. So now we are going to play as our primary character for the run, Sue. Sue has a really fast movement speed. She also has the fastest swim speed in the game. If Sue dies, we're going to be losing some time. Not just from the death itself, but also... One moment. Sorry, I was counting my menuing. Also from the fact that she's just the fastest swimmer by a pretty large margin, and we'll have to do the other main water stage as Doraemon. So ideally, we would keep Sue alive until the end of the run without having to heal too many times. Okay, that stinks. We got pretty bad RNG there, and these guys spawned in a really weird spot. Small time loss for sure. This level's very short, though. Beyond that, we go and we heal that robot. He gives us a card key. We come in here, and the object of World 2 is to destroy these computers at the end of every stage. That's the first one. Now we're going to level 2. Level 2 is the longest stage in the game. Level 2-2, I should say. I call it the volcano. I'm not sure what the technical term for it is, but it's a volcano. First, we're going to come and grab these sprays. Then we're going to redeem... I call it redeeming because we're spending the sprays to get things. We're going to redeem this fan. And this fan is going to allow us to do something very important, and then we're never going to see it again. So, get used to it and say bye-bye. That's it. We're going to carry it for a little bit, but we're going to be switching off of it pretty soon. So in this stage, we're going to take some damage boosts, actually, to save some time. In a normal circumstance, you would want to wait through those lava chutes, but nah, we got to go fast. However, we did take some extra damage in the previous stage, so I'm going to have to play it a little bit safe in this one with the damage boosts. We'll just wait this one out. So if you notice, we have a meter in the top right corner. If that meter depletes, we die, and we have to switch characters. There's an item you can use that negates that, but as such, we don't want to do that because we want to go fast. Not only will it take time to redeem the item, but on top of that, we would have to collect the sprays to do so. So right here, we can't damage boost past this lava plume. Taking damage from it will send us flying. So I take this time to go ahead and re-equip the grenade, which we're going to be using for the rest of this world. And I usually go ahead and use a heart there. Normally, I would damage boost past the next 2 lava plumes, but we're going to play it a little safe for marathon safety, so that I have a little more health, and we can make sure that Sue stays alive. Here we have to redeem this item. I think it's some kind of rock drill. That's my best guess. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, we got a spray from him. That's good. Now we're going to, in my opinion, one of the worst stages in the game. This stage has some pretty weird enemy movement and stuff that can be pretty tricky to avoid. In particular, there's one enemy at the end of this stage that may give us some trouble. We'll find out. I pick up a good amount of sprays here in comparison to, well, other stages in the game. So here we use a first aid kit on a computer for some reason. And we're doing this so that these escalators will, I guess you could call these escalators, the kind of escalators, conveyor belts, whatever they are. Notice how I walked into the wall there so I could recharge my momentum and get a good jump. Alright, so we had to hit that switch, but you might as well walk around and grab those 2 sprays. They're pretty much right in the path. And that's kind of what I've tried to do with the spray route, is mostly negate it to ones in the path. This is one small deviation right here, where I jump down and grab those 3, but it's 3 and it's very quickly. Okay, we avoided that enemy. I don't know if you saw him there. He was creeping up on us. And we made the good cycle. This platform is on a global cycle once you hit that switch. So, wonderful. Whoops. Threw an extra grenade. No big deal. Okay, now we're on to this stage, and there's a pretty tricky skip right here at the first beginning of it. We got it. Cool. So, there's a big puzzle you have to do to get to the other side over there in order to hit a switch, but you can do a pretty precise grenade throw to hit the switch immediately. Saves like a minute and a half. It's pretty significant. It was one of the first skips I found in the game, and I was very happy to find it. Saved a lot of time and headache. Ooh, goodness. I've realized I forgot something. Okay. That's an easy one to forget. So here, we're going to redeem our clouds in a can. Then we're going to hope we get this good switch hit. We did. Nice. We avoided having to go down there and then wait for these clouds to move around even more. Falling here is extremely costly. So as such, I do the jumps a little bit later than what you could. And now we're on to boss 2, the Gundam. At least that's what I call it. I mean, look at it, it's a Gundam. This is a very unique boss in one regard. And the biggest thing in that is we have to fight it a second time later in the run. Like a slightly upgraded version of it. It's really the only boss that repeats itself in that manner. Technically, there is another boss that does, but it's not required, unlike fighting the second time of the Gundam. And it's the same both times, more or less. He's about to begin a phase where he's going to turn gold and start shooting around the map. Pretty much, you can just avoid him during this phase. After his 4th time bouncing off of a wall, though, he'll center himself, and you can get in this sweet spot where his robots can't hit you, and you can just continually bomb him. So, now he's going on to phase 2. Phase 2 of this fight is pretty simple. He would just dash back and forth, and you can just throw bombs in his path, or just hit him directly. Try to avoid taking damage, though. We're going to be taking some damage boosts in the next world, and I want to be able to conserve my hearts. So cool, we got the quick kill. If you hit him in the back, after he approaches the center of the map there, it automatically kills him, which is awesome, of course. So that world went pretty well, overall. There was some weird stuff that happened in the desert, but no big deal. So, now's when the routing of this game starts to get a bit more convoluted, strange, and difficult to keep up with. When I was initially routing out this game, there are no English walkthroughs online of it. There is technically one on Game FAQs, but it's just the manual translated into English. There was, however, an entire 100% YouTube playthrough. So, with that being said, I used that playthrough, and I've slowly figured out the things that I need to do and the things that I don't need to do in order to progress. It was very interesting developing a route in that manner. I don't know, going in blind, language barrier, it was a lot of fun. So here we have to redeem this identity card thing, and these guys let us pass. Then we come in here and we have to talk to the character I like to call the mayor. We're going to be coming here a few times in the next little bit. But the first thing we've got to do is use this computer on him for some reason. He tells us some stuff. And that's all we have to do here for now. It's important to do that now so that we don't have to make a repeat visit to a particular stage later. So this stage here, we're going to be coming back to twice during our visit in World 3. More or less, there's a couple items we got to get here. The first one, though, is over here. The stage is very short in both visits. Cool, we got the jump and didn't take damage. That's nice. Alright, so that's the first thing we needed. Now we're going to level 2. Level 3-2, again, another very short level. The levels start getting a lot more basic at this point in the game, and things start to become more focused on, like, just knowing what to do, weirdly, or something. But at this point, we come up here, talk to this girl. If you recall, we've seen an NPC like this way back in World 1. And that's important for something we're going to be going to do later. So we're almost done with this stage already. World 3 is probably the shortest world as a whole. Maybe not in terms of minutes, but in terms of just stuff there is to do that's particularly difficult. There's nothing too notable about it. World 2 and 4 are definitely the harder points in the game. But that's level 3 too. So now we need to go all the way back to World 2 for a moment and go to this town here. So when we took that computer to the mayor, or rather we used a computer on him or something, he told us that he wanted these 3 crystals. Well, talking to him in the manner that we did also caused that NPC to spawn in. But that NPC won't give us that gem until we've talked to the NPC in level 3 too. So, it was an interesting routing conundrum that I bumped into for a little bit there with this game. So now we're coming back here. We're going to be making a few visits to this town throughout the rest of the run. But we're coming back to give the crystals to the mayor. It's really weird. This is the only item in the game like this. When you give him the crystals, he gives you like a transmitter sort of looking thing. And it doesn't actually indicate that you've been given anything at all. And the first time I played through the game casually, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know I even had anything. So now we're doing a repeat visit to this level. There is technically a slightly quicker way we can go about this, but I'm going to play it a little safe for marathon's sake. We have to take that 1 damage boost there to come across here, at least quickly. We can damage boost our way over there, but I'm going to take this warp a little bit safer. Maybe a 3-second time loss or so. Oops. And here we use the transmitter that the mayor gave us, and it causes this big amulet to appear. A huge amulet. The game never really tells you what to do, but what you need to do is use this item on it, which is the shrink ray. And it shrinks it so that we can pick it up. Hilarious, right? Now we're going to the final water stage. Luckily for us, we've kept Sue alive. Plenty deep into the game. It would be ideal to keep her alive to the end of the run at this point, so we're going to try to be as damageless as possible. For the sake of also just not dying, we'll heal her up if we need to as well. Oops. I forgot to use this item here. Normally I use it a little sooner than that, so we can just go straight down the hole. So we come in here, swing past all those, like, sea serpent dudes. Jump up here. We equip the gun. We shoot that thing, and we leave. And that's it. That's literally all we do there. So I don't re-enter this stage like the other water level for a few reasons. The biggest reason is we have to swim down another deep hole, and we would have to use that item a second time. And it actually saves time not to re-enter this stage as a result, which is pretty interesting. We're also playing as Sue, who swims quite fast. We have swam into a wall. Somehow we've ended up somewhere weird. I'm not sure what just happened. Oh. That was really strange. No big deal. Alright. Then we use the amulet. That ends this stage. And now we're going to the final stage of World 3. I decided to take a safety save there just in case. I've seen this level crash once or twice. It does lose a small moment of time to take the safety save, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. Alright, cool. So that guy dropped a spray. That's extremely convenient for us. Hopefully I don't mess up the platforming in this room. It's a little tricky. Okay. Okay, so we have to farm some things here. We had 5 sprays, so that's 7. 8, 9. I'm gonna count out loud. 10, 11. This is just the quickest place to do it. 12, 13. For those wondering, we're getting to 27. 14, 15. 16, 17. 18, 19. Riveting stuff, right? 21, wait, what? We're at 21. 22, 23. 24, 25. And 26, 27. Done. That should be all the sprays we'll need for the rest of the run. Well, sort of. We're going to pick up a few more that are in our path, but in terms of a farming spot, that's about as good as it gets. We're going to grab these 3 since we're passing. Taking damage there is very unfortunate, but it's a small thing. We're going to go ahead and use a safety heart here. Alright, so here's the 3rd boss. This boss is pretty weird. we're not going to be able to get the quick kill on him because one of my grenades hit his projectiles instead of him. If you notice that. So you notice right here he does a move where he eats a fruit and he heals up. Very inconvenient. We can kill him before he does that a second time, but it's only contingent upon hitting him enough. And missing that one shot at the start of the fight is not going to bode well for that. Ooh, we got him, actually. We barely got it. Another couple frames, and he would have eaten that fruit and healed up, and we would have had to hit him about 7 or 8 more times. So that's cool, getting the quick kill, for sure. Alright, so here we have some more cutscenes and World 4. Okay, so that level there, I really needed to focus. It's a very difficult stage. Unfortunately, you really can't see it, so I apologize for going dark. That being said, the stage itself is also literally dark, so that's fun. So this stage here has some pretty weird routing stuff in it, in terms of items. First, we use this party popper kind of thing, and it takes the stage into kind of like a summer state, or a slightly less frozen state, I should say. And it allows us to come into this door up here and hit a switch. Simple as that. This stage has a very difficult jump in it. I'm not going to be going for it during this. I'm going to be taking the safe path, which saves... it loses about 7 seconds, but it's a very difficult jump, and we're in the late game at this point. So now, we are going to use this fan, and it takes the stage back to its winter state. And this is why we farmed so many sprays. We do need 4 more sprays to beat the game. I don't really know where we're going to get them. I kind of just forgot about them, and it might... Oh, I'm kidding, they're right here. They're literally right there. Right in the path. So now we're going to wait for this platform. Right there. You can jump immediately when you get there and sometimes hit the platform, but it's very tricky. And if you miss it, you're going to lose a lot of time. So there are 2 boss levels in the final area. This first one here, we're going to be fighting a very familiar face, Doraemon. Doraemon actually isn't in our party. In one of the cutscenes that I skipped, Doraemon gets corrupted by the evil space goop, more or less, and yeah, he's the villain of World 3, or at least the first part of World 3. This level here is pretty interesting. It involves traveling through, like, mirrors and going into, like, other dimensions and stuff. It's kind of neat. It's kind of, like, illusion-based or something. Like, I don't know if I'm sure you can notice the ground is sort of translucent or something. I highly recommend picking up this game as a speed game to anybody, by the way. It's like I said, it's a highly dynamic speedrun that features a lot of different just general mechanics. And as such, it's definitely a good one to pick up starting off, I think. It teaches you a lot of different ways to play. I can't believe I just did what I did. I always forget about that. So in this room here, we have to redeem our first underwater weapon. There is an underwater fight coming up. And as such, we need a gun to use underwater. So yeah, we went ahead and made that there. We're creeping up towards the end of the game. The final part and the kind of the final act is pretty long, but we are definitely creeping up on the end. So, now we're fighting evil Doraemon. We gotta equip our grenade first, naturally. Hit him with one grenade and he'll jump back into a portal. And then he'll come out riding sort of a Dr. Robotnik-esque kind of thing. This boss is both easy and difficult at the same time, depending on how things pan out. That was a pretty good phase 1. Phase 2 is the underwater phase that really sucks. What I've found is the best strat is to swim towards him while shooting. And just kind of hope it hits. The shots are kind of difficult to connect in this game. That was pretty good. We took some damage. That's unfortunate. I like how we were still in the damage boost animation coming out of that. That was pretty interesting. Alright, so that's phase 3. Phase 4, the final phase, it usually goes pretty well. Hopefully we don't take any damage from these little bell dudes bouncing around. One more hit, and we'll have it done. Oh, 2. There we go. We'll go ahead and use a safety heart. Now we're coming up on the final chunk of the game, like the final act. And it's really weird. It's a really weird section of the game. First, we're going to get some cutscenes that we're not going to watch, naturally. And then we have to go backwards into the game. The first place we're going to go is to a place in World 1. If you recall, I said we were going to revisit a stage, and it's time to do that now. So here we go. So we've come here because our ship, we have a spaceship, by the way. Our spaceship / time machine / travel device is broken, and we saw a ship crash on top of this mountain. So the cool thing about playing as Sue in this stage is these slope jumps are much easier because of the added speed that we get. This one here is so easy we can likely get it first try. Exactly. Wonderful. So, we unlock the final character. We're not going to play as the character at any point, unfortunately, but it's a required step in beating the game. So we come back to this town to just pick up one thing. In the first world, we talk to a particular, like, scientist character. He has an item for us that we need, and that's it. He will not give that to us in our earlier visit, unfortunately. So it does require a second visit at this point in the game. Then we come back to this town. We'll be coming back here one more time. We have to deliver the device that the professor gave us to the other professor. Scientist or engineer, I think is the term that the game uses for them. So this part here really confused me when I was first beating this game casually. I couldn't figure out why I couldn't advance the story here. And it turns out that all you have to do is come down here and do that. Talk to that one guy. And it allows you to continue forward. So now we're going to visit one of the first villages in the game. There are 2 towns in every area, and we only visit the cities. This is one of the villages that are not humanoid characters. In particular, these are alligator characters. They have a gem that they're going to be giving us. But first, we need to be able to speak to them. They don't speak our language. So we're going to be using our last sprays here. First on the translation gummy. Then on this weird purse. Oops. He lets us go in here to talk to the chief. Jump up here. and then we would use this microphone on him for some reason. I don't know about y'all, that's my jam, dude. Alright, he gives us the gem. We leave. Then we gotta go back to city number 2. Oops. I went the wrong way on the map. Sometimes that just happens. It's really weird. In World 3, the direction that you have to hold reverses sometimes in order to go, like, up or down on the map. I have no idea why. It's one of the weirdest things. And it's only in World 3. Makes no sense. Alright. So then we give the crystal to the good old professor, and he gives us a gun. A gun that we have to beat the final boss. Speaking of, we are now going to the final area. So we are coming up in the next, I don't know, 3 to 5 minutes on the end of the game. Something like that. If things go well. I'm going to go ahead and take a safety save here as well. But here is the final level. Really good music. Just letting y'all soak it in for a minute. Alright. So, this first room, well, the second room technically, but the first room is just a hallway. This first room here has a pretty difficult jump in it. Saves quite a bit of time though, so we're definitely going to go for it. And nice, we got it. Cool. So we're good to go. The rest of the run is pretty much set in stone at this point, for the most part. We can technically have some bad bosses, but even if we die, we're fine. So, here's Gundam 2. Much like Gundam 1, there's a sweet spot that you can stand in where you won't take any damage from anything he does. Which is, of course, fabulous. He moves a little faster than the first Gundam, but not anything too overly annoying. At least until the second phase. The second phase can get a little hairy sometimes if you're not paying attention. What we're hoping to see is for his little minions to blow up. That means that he's going to be going on to the second phase. Cool. The sooner he goes to that second phase, the faster we can go ahead and end the fight. See how much faster he moves in this phase, though? It's absolutely crazy. Alright, if we take a little damage, no big deal. Cool. Got the quick kill. So now we're going to be going to the final boss. Well, sort of. There's 2 final bosses, but the second one's more of like a bonus boss that just gets you to the credits. So we have to beat the Gundam to get through this door. I've tried to find ways to click through that door so we can skip the second Gundam fight, but I haven't found anything yet. This room here is kind of obnoxious and honestly a bit of padding. If you notice, you saw the third boss skating around this whole area. I thought that I had to beat that boss again for a while, and it was so tedious because you can't even halfway keep up with it. And no, you don't. You can just let him do his thing. He'll just be skating for the rest of eternity. No big deal. So we're gonna go ahead and equip our new gun. We need it anyway to shoot this switch here, which is pretty tricky actually, as you'll see. That was actually pretty good. That might hit. Yeah, nice. But we have to have this gun for the final boss. So here's the final boss, really. There is a boss after this, but it's not really anything difficult. So that red ray that he shot at us will shrink us, and we don't want to shrink. When we shrink, we can't use our weapons. So notice we got rid of that purple barrier around him. That's all we need that gun for. The game won't even let you enter this stage if you don't have that gun in your inventory, which makes sense, I suppose. We're avoiding that red ray because, like I said, it's a shrink ray, and when we're small, we can't use our weapons. Here he does the shrink ray, but he like spins around. Sometimes that can be happen at a very detrimental time, and I'll get into that in a minute. So now he's entering his second phase. So the fight's it's pretty much over. His first phase is really the hardest phase, avoiding his shrink ray. Now he'll probably enter his third phase, yep. In this phase, he turns into a giant pile of slime with horns and hops around, which is, I don't know, that's unique. That's a vibe, I guess. He has a one spin attack that he'll do, and then he'll transform back into his humanoid shape pretty much immediately. This is really weird. Yeah, normally he goes back into human mode way faster. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa. Okay, we almost got soft lock. So if this battle ends and we're shrunk, we can't finish the game, which is very unfortunate. So now the world is back to normal, balance is restored to the forest and all that good stuff, but we still have to go back in time inside of our desk to fight the true final boss, which is actually just the same slime we fought, only earlier in its life cycle. I'm not joking, that's actually what's happening. I'm pretty, like, 99% positive. He too has a weird purple orb phase, but you have to hit him twice first before it starts. Also, this is the true final boss, so time will be coming up when the screen fades to black after this boss is finished off. We have full health. As such, I'm not worried about taking hits. Alright, cool. Once he enters this phase, it's free. You just throw bombs at him. I'm doing it with one hand. So, he's going to explode, and then the screen will fade to black, and that's time. So, and time. That's Doraemon 3. It's a very interesting game. It has a little bit of everything, like I said. I highly recommend people to check it out and run it. All three of the Doraemon games on the 64 are pretty fun to run, but I prefer the third one, personally. It just has a bit more going on in terms of routing and stuff, but thanks for having me. I'm going to be running WCW and NWO Revenge next for you guys, but I believe there'll be a brief intermission between my runs. So, again, thanks for having me, and thanks, License-a-thon, for letting me showcase Doraemon 3. Very appreciated.